Well, once again, good morning, fellow people of the interwebs. I am still Pookie 7 for Tenkaichi Gaming. And, I was brought today with something really disturbing and more than likely really sickening today because it comes from our friends from PETA. It's not the people eating tasty animals. That's us. No, I'm talking about something that has been brought to my attention earlier this morning around maybe 1 a.m. You see, there are some things that you just don't do. Some things that you just don't desecrate as a human being. And one of the things that you just don't do as a human being is, well, you do not harm the innocent. And what's more innocent than puppies and kittens? The bane of all existence for anyone who has ever been an animal lover. Now, the following article that I am going to share and read have some quite graphic pictures. And yes, I will indeed share the actual article in the description box below, so you too can have you too can read this for yourselves, and please feel free to share any comments you deem worthy of reading. Deem worthy of sharing. This is a serious matter after all. So, for those who have weak stomachs, please turn away as you see fit. Alright, here we go. Shocking photos. PETA's secret slaughter of kittens and puppies. Warning, some of the following graphic photos may distress the reader. People for the ethical treatment of animals. PETA is an organization that publicly claims to represent the best interests of animals. Indeed, their ethical treatment. Yet approximately 2,000 animals pass through PETA's front door every day, and very few make it out alive. The vast majority, 96% in 2011, exit the facility out the back door after they've been killed. When pet cremation services of Tidewater stops by on their regular visits to pick up their remains. Between these visits, the bodies are stored in the giant walk-in freezer PETA installed for this very purpose. It is a freezer that costs $9,370, and like the company which incinerates the bodies of PETA, the PETA's victims was paid for with the donations of animal lovers who could never imagine that the money have donated to help animals will be used to end their lives instead. In fact, in the 11 years, PETA has killed 29,426 dogs, cats, rabbits, and other domestic animals. Most animal lovers find this hard to believe. But seeing is believing. And if this is true, that a picture speaks 1,000 words. The following images speak volumes about who and what PETA really stands for. Members of the RCO, ready your muskets, your cannonballs, and perhaps everything else. Yes, this is PETA. This is the headquarters. We're gonna launch a full-on assault on this son of a bitch. It's gonna get ugly, so therefore, if you want to hold your stomachs in them, if you want to get away from this video right now, I do not blame you. The PETA headquarters is on the aptly named Front Street, while claiming to be an animal rights organization. PETA does not believe animals have a right to live. Instead, it believes that people have a right to kill them, as long as the killing is done humanely, which PETA interprets to mean poisoning them with an overdose of barbiturates, even if the animals are not suffering. In 2012, 733 dogs entered this building. They killed 602 of them. Only 12 were adopted. Also, in the same year, they impounded 1,110 cats. 1,045 were put to death. 7 of them were adopted. They also took in 34 other companion animals, such as rabbits, of which 28 were put to death. Only 4 were adopted. Continuing. A supermarket dumpster full of garbage bags. When police officers looked inside, they found the bodies of dead animals. Animals killed by PETA. PETA described these animals as adorable and perfect. A veterinarian who naively gave PETA some of the animals, thinking they would find them homes and examine the dead bodies of others, testified that they were healthy and adoptable. A mother cat and her 2 kittens, all perfectly healthy and adoptable, none in danger of being killed until they were given to PETA by a veterinarian who was trying to find them homes and was told by PETA employees that they would have no problem adopting them out. After PETA lied to them and the mother and kittens were entrusted to their care, they reportedly killed them within minutes in the back of a van. The PETA field killing kit found by police in the back of the PETA death van in Oski, North Carolina. Oh. An Oski police detective dressed in a hazmat suit prepares to bury a puppy killed by PETA. This puppy and dozens of other animals, including cats and kittens, were found by police throughout June of 2005 after PETA employees dumped them in garbage bin in North Carolina. God. Puppies killed by PETA in the back of a van, a donor-funded slaughterhouse on wheels. Despite $35 million in annual revenues and millions of animal-loving members, PETA does not try to find them homes. PETA has no adoption hours, does no adoption promotion, has no adoption floor, but is registered with the state of Virginia as a humane society or animal shelter. Oh. Moving on. According to inspection reports by the Virginia Department of Agriculture, the PETA facility does not contain sufficient animal enclosures to routinely house the numbers of animals annually reported as taken into custody. The shelter is not accessible to the public, promoted, or engaged in efforts to facilitate the adoption of animals taken into custody. Routine inspections often found no animals to be housed in the facility, or at best few animals in custody, despite thousands of them impounded by PETA annually. Since they take in thousands per year, where were they? 90% of the animals were euthanized within the first 24 hours of custody, according to the Virginia Department of Agriculture. Man, I'm so upset now. Inspector, how can people adopt animals from PETA when they kill the animals they acquire within minutes without ever making them available for adoption? How can people show animals for adoption, choose to kill them without doing so? In fact, when asked by Porter what efforts they make to find animals' homes, PETA had no comment. Yeah, I bet you sons of bitches didn't have a comment. Motherfuckers. A postcard written and signed by Ingrid Newkirk, PETA's founder, admitting that PETA does not believe animals have a right to live, despite its public perception of PETA as an animal rights organization. The right to live is the fundamental right of all rights. It is fundamental because without it, no other rights are possible. How can animals be guaranteed the right to food, water, shelter, and protection when those things can be taken away by killing them? We have a rule that we follow, and that is harm none. Harm none. Respect all, harm none. Many animal lovers who have publicly condemned PETA for the killing have received a letter from the PETA legal department threatening a lawsuit. However, because a lawsuit would allow for subpoenas of PETA employees past and present, leading to under oath testimonies about the grisly reality of what has and is going on at PETA. It is unlikely that PETA would ever follow through with these empty threats. Their donor-funder attorneys would rattle their sabers, but know that they have a lot more to fear from the public disclosure that would result from a lawsuit than the animal activists who are truthfully and given PETA threats and intimidation bravely reports on PETA's atrocities against animals in hopes of bringing them to an end. When you donate to PETA, you not only fund the killing of animals, you fund the intimidation of animal lovers. Look at that. Oh, God. Not only does PETA kill animals, they also defend the killing of animals by others. This is a dying kitten in a Houston shelter after staff lost, quote unquote, the kitten. When he was found, he was near death. His last hours were ones in suffering. Houston officials put job applicants with a history of violence, a history of criminal behavior, and those who scored the lowest on city aptitude tests in animal control. When I was hired by the Houston Health Department to assess the shelter, my advice regarding staff was to fire people who abuse animals. Hire those who care about them. PETA defended the shelter, urging government officials not to listen to me. Fuck you, PETA. Fuck you. A puppy dying of parvovirus in the Houston shelter is not given anything soft to lie as she urinates all over herself. Here she sits, unable to keep her head up, alone in a cold, barren stainless steel cage without receiving necessary veterinary care. Other shelters have a better stainless steel cage without receiving necessary veterinary care. Other shelters have a better than 90%. I think I'm reading this right. Other shelters have a better than 90% rate of saving dogs with parvovirus. In a letter to the editor of the Houston paper, PETA publicly defended this shelter, urging Houstonians to reject my advice on the need for reform and how to do so. And it only gets worse. Oh, look at all these cats. The PETA solution? Dead feral cats in a Florida shelter. PETA successfully defeated SB 1320, a law that would have clarified that non-lethal programs to neuter and release feral cats rather than killing them are legal in Florida. Big. Get your shotgun. As shelters and health departments, you know what? Scratch that. Get that big old wooden paddle of yours. You're going to need it. Nationwide embrace trap neuter release programs. PETA remains a stalwart opponent of this humane alternative to killing, arguing that healthy feral cats should continue to be killed, even urging their supporters to take them to shelters or veterinarians to do so. The PETA website states that the most compassionate choice is to euthanize feral cats. You can ask your veterinarian to do this, or if you'd like a shelter, use an injection of sodium pentobarbital, take the cats there. This shelter used an injection of sodium pentobarbital, killing the cats in front of other cats. Catch pulling the cats as they try to flee while they urinate and defecated all over the kennel in fear. This is how terrified feral cats behave in shelters. Apparently to PETA, this is how it should be. Look at these cats. Look at these. Oh, God, look at these cats. The fuck are they? A cat in the King County, a cat in the King County, Washington shelter begs for food and water. Cats in the infirmary were not fed or given over a 3-day holiday weekend, and both of their food bowls and water bowls were empty. Although staff was assigned to shelter, supervisors and staff chose to socialize instead. I was hired by King County Council to assess the shelter. My advice: hire supervisors who are not part of the same union as to eliminate conflicts of interest. All staff should be given a checklist of assigned duties, and supervisors should double-check that those duties have been done. In a letter to the King County Council, PETA told officials not to listen to me because I was, quote-unquote, radical. If PETA had its way, this dog would be killed in every shelter in America because someone said he looks like a pit bull. According to Ingrid Newkirk, a growing number of shelters are enacting policies banning the adoption of pit bulls and requiring their automatic destruction, and PETA supports the pit bull policy. After finishing the year saving 98% of cats and 94% of dogs, the fourth year, Shelby County, Kentucky, had 90+% save rates. They announced they were crowded and would begin killing animals. Once again, as they've done so many times before, the Shelby County No-Kill Mission, a private organization both responsible for and dedicated to ensuring that Shelby County remains no-kill, went to work and the crisis was averted, bringing the population down through rescue, foster, and adoption. Unlike Shelby County No-Kill Mission, PETA also reached out to officials, but not to help save the animals. PETA didn't ask what they could do with their $35 million a year in revenues and millions of animal-loving members to help save animals being threatened with death as donors intended and as supporters assumed. They didn't offer to help the Shelby County shelter find homes, build temporary kennels, board animals, foster animals, adopt animals, or even just get the word out across Kentucky that animals need help. Instead, PETA sent Shelby County government and shelter officials a gift basket with a note thanking them for their decision to start killing again after 4 years. Thank you for doing the right thing, wrote PETA. These pictures reveal the truth about PETA, a reality that is deeply at odds with the public's perception of that organization as a radical animal rights group. In practice, PETA is the functional equivalent of a slaughterhouse. While their efforts to undermine the life-saving work of animal lovers throughout the country continually derail urgently need reforms that will further the rights of our nation's homeless dogs and cats. By defending the regressive and cruel shelters and sheltering policies that mandate killing, by calling for the deaths of certain groups of animals entering shelters, and by injecting thousands of animals with a fatal dose of poison every year. These actions are not only inconsistent with the mission of an animal rights organization, they are the antithesis of one. Only one question remains. That one question is, why is anyone still donating to PETA? Okay. I'm going to do this. I gave it some thought. And when I was trying to basically just let the beast kind of like cool it, because I don't want to let him out. It's not a good thing. I would like to share my thoughts about this. As you are seeing, most of the posts said here, PETA is evil. And as I'm sharing this, as I am actually sharing this, I don't care how I don't really care about modern politics, but here's my honest thought about this. My honest thought about this is, well, just what I said earlier. And I'll say it again. PETA is evil. Not only are you just basically doing this, it's like you're handing your soul to the devil. You're handing your animal's life to the devil. Or you're handing who's ever, you're handing somebody, something that should be cared for. It's like, take for me, for example. I could pretty much be labeled as damaged goods. If not for the constant help and the therapy I basically had to put myself through just to straighten my brain out and say I'm not damaged goods, but I am a person, I wouldn't be here talking right now. And as I said before, I follow this universal rule that everybody should follow. It is respect all, harm none. Respect all life, harm none. PETA does not follow this rule. And I had to share this because, well, I had to fight the fact that I was on the verge of tears right now. And if I didn't say anything right, and really, just to be honest, I am an animal lover. I love dogs. I love cats. I love anything with fur and paws and claws. I love animals, period. I have a cute little black cat who meows every time he sees me. I meow back to him because he's my cat. I give him love, I give him attention, and I give him food. Sometimes he likes to. Sometimes he likes to be a little playful. A little too playful, but playful nonetheless. And I can respect that. I give him a hug every so often to show that I care. I would like to say support your local animal shelters. I would rather you take whatever sick or wounded animal is out there, take them to your local animal shelter. Make sure that they get the love and attention they so richly deserve. They will thank you for it. But don't ever give them to PETA. PETA is evil. PETA takes the lives of those who are scared, wounded. And well, you heard me read the article to you guys. I mean, there's no way around this. I mean, truly, this is the kind of evil we need to really take out. This is the evil of the world. This is one of the true evils of the world. Because they're constantly getting funded by animal lovers such as ourselves. I was never one for, commercials that were exploiting pet abuse and everything else. This really upsets me as a person and as an animal lover. I really can't stand that. It just makes me want to go out and rip PETA's fucking heart out. And I know that each and every one of us who live in these states that was mentioned in said article, I know you want to drive down to where PETA is, and you want to just basically throw a fucking Molotov at their ass. I won't blame you. I would do it too. But then again, I'd probably be too far fucking gone to actually just to say how I feel about this. So my thoughts toward PETA, they're evil. Sick, twisted, deranged, corrupted. And I can't stand them. They make me upset. They make me want to blow up. They make me want to get a gun and start shooting myself in the fucking head. Or shoot them in the fucking head, whichever comes first. I am that upset. I am that pissed. Because of such a thing as this. This still exists. They're just as bad as the Ku Klux Klan. But they're worse. Oh, so much worse. Anyway. Share your thoughts about this issue. Please. I want to hear what you honestly have to say about this issue. And please, don't be afraid to say more than that's some deep stuff, man. Please, I want to hear what you have to say. Feel free to leave your comments below. And I will also, as I said before, put the article in question in the description box so you can read this for yourself, so you can basically share your own thoughts about it. And please share this with anybody you know, especially you guys on Facebook. Please, for the love of God, share this, because this shit has got to stop, and it can only stop if we pass this word around and we let them know we don't like this shit. We're not going to put up with this shit. And more than likely, we are going to put an end to it by any means necessary. I've been the Tenkaichi. And I'll see you around.